Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Good evening, my fellow trustees and audience. I don't have a gavel, but we'll call to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance like usual. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes from the February meeting? March meeting? Sorry. One of the last meetings. Oh, let's do this first. Yeah, thank you. Did everyone have a chance? Anyone have questions, comments, changes? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 14th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a good second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then the minutes have passed. And I'm just gonna sign this attendance sheet, pass it this way. I'm actually now going to make a motion to begin an executive session of the board. What is the language? I know. Okay. Hopefully have it. Just one moment, please. Thank you. Great. I will make a motion to start an executive session to discuss the potential employment of an individual and the employment history of an individual. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Lucille.
Lucille.
So we will retire to the executive session. We're actually going to go up to the second floor conference room.
Stay, go.
I think you can come with us.
You want me to stay?
Yes, thank you. Okay, I will make a motion to call the meeting to order again. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, so the meeting has been called to order again and we will resume. And we will start with it's not it either. Our WLS report. Thank you. It's getting there. Thanks, Tom. And with David.
Relatively brief meeting a couple weeks ago, but mostly I'll elaborate on our executive director's report, which was highlighting several programs that WLS was involved with, including career coaching services, workforce and business development, professional development, with specifically sessions on effective interviewing that was hosted by the Somers Library. There was further database cleanup with the online catalog, interlibrary loan system. The development department hosted various workshops aimed at supporting member library friends and foundations with a focus on Library Giving Day, which was April 3rd. There was a launch of the quarterly newsletter, Take Note, which was targeted to member library friends and foundations to support fundraising efforts. And as we elaborated on last meeting, the various patron accounts that were removed from the online catalog were transitioned to deletion status that were no longer active after 30 more days of inactivity. Accounts will be permanently deleted.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, President's report, that is me. So tonight is bittersweet that it is Tom Giaffino's last meeting as director of our library after 18 years, Tom, just about 18 years. And so this is your last meeting. It's sad. It's very sad. And last night I said some heartfelt words, and I meant every word, and tonight I will reiterate what I said. First, we've been through a lot over the last 6 years, and I say this not only as a library trustee, but as a human being. Our community has been through a lot, society has been through a lot, the world has been through a lot. And all of those things have changed over the last 6 years, and during that time, and during the period that we've worked together, I've learned so much from you. You've led the library with integrity and with a generosity of spirit. And at every step, you've kept our community, the residents of New Rochelle, at the center of your decision-making, and we've been in very good hands. You've made such a positive difference in the lives of so many people. You've made your mark, and you will be missed. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Whitney, I have to thank you for those kind remarks. And, we have been through a lot these past 6 years on so many different levels. And I feel our library has continued to thrive and grow. And it's not me, it's not about me, it's about all of us. Our board here currently and past, our staff who are working currently, and the ones that came before. Our advocacy groups, our foundation and friends, and our community. And I think we have grown and achieved things, and it's been a collective effort because we've always kept the importance of the community as the most important priority. Our goal was to broaden our library in regards to our collections, our services, improve our physical plant, and be as open and welcoming as we can be to all of our community, our wonderful, diverse community. And it's been a pleasure for me. It's been the highlight of my career to be a part of this community and part of this library effort. And so I thank you all for that, giving me the privilege of being here and working with you. I grew up in a city like New Rochelle. And when I came here nearly 18 years ago, I loved it because my hometown was diverse and we had all kinds of people. And I just felt like I came back home when I came to New Rochelle. So I thank you all for your support. And I am excited about the future of our library and our community. And I know we're going to continue to grow in a variety of ways. And so I'm done with all of that. So thank you. I've been an administrator for 30 years and a director for 25, both here and elsewhere. So this is my last director's report. So that's kind of cool. I just would like to talk, first of all, about a series of grants that we're, in process of starting or completing. One grant is the third floor renovation, which I'm very excited to say is nearly complete. The final element that we are about to finish is the enclosure of the area above the teen space. And that has been done. We've created 2 fairly large conference room for staff meetings, for meetings of the community at no charge. So among all the things that you see on that third floor, you'll see those new public meeting spaces, those new study rooms, because we've discovered since even before the pandemic, people are looking for spaces in the library, both in the, sort of the collective outside, but also more private spaces. And I think we've done a good job in trying to address that need. So that project is nearly complete. The fire safety project is yet another project that we undertook. We've gotten state grants for the one that I mentioned and the one that I'm about to mention, and that's also nearly done. And that relates to protecting the building if there were ever to be any sort of fire or conflagration. And so I have a report from the project manager. He says, of the 571 observed deficient conditions, all are substantially completed and approved by the special inspector. There are about 20 that need to be completed, and some of these need to be addressed as a change order work with the library's prior approval in order to reflect these unforeseen conditions. The sign-off and approval process with the city of New Rochelle is the same as reported at our previous meeting. We are nearly at the end of this project. There's just a few things that need to be addressed. They may require some change order activity. We've been very lucky in not having change orders to date on this project. And when it's complete, we can feel comfortable that the public and the staff are in a building that's been safer than prior to its onset. Let's see what else. The 2022 New York State Library Construction Grant had been successfully submitted in August of 2022. We received announcement that it was approved in June of 2023. The money arrived in October, and our project at the Huguenot Children's Library has been completed, which allowed us to install storage solutions throughout the facility, enhancements to the basement relative to flooring, an upgraded kitchen, and installation of an exterior patio wall and surround to make the building more tight. It's not as drafty. We're keeping out, I hate to admit it, some vermin that was getting in before, so that has been successfully completed on time and on project. The noise abatement project that began on February 26th and for the most part finished on March 1st is complete. And this project was managed by Elizabeth Joseph and Kira Aiello. It was successful. There are still some panels that need to be installed, and we're working through that. But if you look through the library, we have these noise abatements, which is making the library a quieter place throughout much of the facility. And in our teen area, there'll be a second phase as part of a grant request that we made in August of 2023. We still have not heard about that grant. We expect to get it approved sometime in the summer and then see the money arrive in early fall. And that will also include finishing this project for the areas not touched by our noise abatement program, and also will entail a far better improvement of signage and wayfinding so that people will be able to navigate through this large library, well over 50,000 square feet and three floors. So we're looking forward to moving in a positive and upward direction with those projects. We're also waiting. That same grant grant process allowed us to apply for monies to improve the Huguenot Children's Library restrooms, both on the first floor and the lower level. They are well used and a little bit tired, and they'll be improved in that aspect and also made more ADA compliant. So again, we're waiting for announcement in this summer, and hopefully money will arrive in early fall, possibly before. Let's see. Another grant that is hopefully will be on our way is the ARPA grant that the New Rochelle Public Library Foundation undertook on behalf of the library with the city of New Rochelle. The idea was, after working with library staff and with the board, that we would create a children's outdoor pavilion in the garden area. And we were happy to learn that this grant was funded about $250,000 through ARPA money. And it is, again, being managed by the foundation and the city. And they are currently working through some contract language. We're hoping that that situation will be addressed successfully. We'll receive the money, and then the project will move forward. So that's something exciting. And this space, which we're characterizing as a children's program space, really can be far more than that. It could be used for our teen population. It could be used for adult programs. It could be used by our advocacy groups for fundraising and other things too as well. Let's see. One thing I would ask the board for their approval and that is the annual report that we send to the state of New York, the New York State Library, and it's through the auspices of our county consortium, the Westchester Library System. And every year, we are legally obligated to fill out a document that details all our activities, whether it be program activity, sizes of our collections, our resources, our governance structure, policies, our financial elements. And that work has been done, managed by our administrative assistant, Jean Manning, with a strong assist from our Assistant Director, Elizabeth Joseph, and our staff who have contributed the statistics. It's never an easy process, but it has been accepted by the Westchester Library System and will go on to the state of New York. But there's an obligation for our board, hopefully tonight, to approve that submission. And I believe our administrative assistant sent that document to all of you in early March. And so Whitney has a resolution to read.
Does anyone have any questions before? No, great. Then I will make a motion that the 2023 New Rochelle Public Library Annual Report as successfully submitted to New York State be endorsed. Can I get a second?
Second.
Rhiannon seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So this has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney and board. And thank you to Jean, Elizabeth, and staff for working on a document that's really not so easy. It's complicated and detail oriented. Let's see, moving forward. Let's see. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Another board resolution I'm seeking was sent to you in an email prior to this meeting, and that relates to our library's successful and longstanding work in regards to obtaining E-rate monies specific to technology. And as I said earlier, this library I think, has been successful based on the hard work of our staff. And in this instance, it would be our IT head, Daniel Ojiri, who year in, year out has navigated through the very treacherous waters of E-rate applications. It's really one of the most complicated grant processes to be involved in. And what we know is that many, many libraries choose not to apply, even though the money is good, because it's so darn confusing and complicated. But Daniel has worked very successfully to obtain a grant. And previously, what we try to do is provide the board with information about the grant request so that you have a chance to look at the grant request, ask questions. But like in previous years, the information that Daniel was able to obtain was late, not through any fault of his own, but because of the whole process. And so we needed to sign this grant request prior to the board meeting. I notified the board approved that it was appropriate. And so tonight we're asking for this resolution. And I just want to just very, very briefly just indicate that it's a wonderful deal for our community because we are getting $57,231.01. And all we need to do is provide a matching commitment of $13,577.49, which we can do and have done by using our fund balance. And so I would ask our board president, Whitney.
Sure. Anyone have any questions about the E-rate grant?
No.
We've had lots of questions in the past, but this is something we've done for many, many years. So I will make a motion for the board to accept the 2024 E-rate grant under category 2 subsections, basic maintenance, licenses for basic maintenance, and managed internal broadband services. As Tom mentioned, the library will receive $1,231.01 in grant monies. And that is contingent upon a matching contribution from our fund balance of $13,577.49. Can I get a second? Tatiana seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So that has passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney and
Thank you,
board.
Daniel. I
Oh.
know that it's a lot of work.
A lot of work, but you know, he is persevered and the community as a result benefits. Just a few more and then we'll move on. Well,
Fine.
okay. I
Lots
lost
of
it.
ways to speak.
That's
Let's
right.
round it out. We wanna hear your voice.
Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, I'm, as always, our friends group, the Friends of New Rochelle Public Library, continue to work very hard, raising money to allow us to provide all kinds of program opportunities for the community. Mostly they do that by they're managing the extraordinary stream of donations that we currently get. Amy Teets, our Friends president, estimates it can be as much as 1,000 books a week, which is that's a lot of books to enter our library, but the Friends somehow are equal to that. They organize the books, they sell them back to the community for a very, very modest cost, thus allowing people to create their own personal libraries, that is. And the monies, of course, goes to the library. And so that's a business plan that's been successful for years and it continues. The Friends Bookstore continues to be open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And the Friends, once again, are accepting donations, but they are strongly requesting that when people donate, they donate not a particularly large box because they just can't handle it. But if you were to donate a series of boxes, you know, over the course of time, it would allow them to better manage the flow. The next Friends board meeting has not yet formally been scheduled, but I believe it will be sometime in June. And they will be having a Friends volunteer lunch later in May, which is an annual way that they thank their many volunteers who work so hard managing this pretty big task. Last part of my report is related to, again, another wonderful advocacy groups that supports our library and supports our community, and that's the New Rochelle Public Library Foundation. Their most recent meeting was held on April 1st. They had a long and engaged conversation about future governance. I'm not the only person that's leaving in the very near future. Chris Ellen, who's been the stellar president of the foundation for 9 years and has worked extraordinarily hard and helped the foundation achieve quite a lot of success in terms of fundraising as well as advocacy, et cetera, is also sort of stepping down after many years of service. And so that meeting was devoted to the future look of the foundation in terms of who will be the officers that will succeed Chris. And there's also some talk about, governance in terms of bringing somebody on board to help the load of for the volunteers who are carrying a lot on their plate. Let's see. The foundation, as you folks may know, is holding their Guardian Gala on May 9th. It will be held at the Green Tree Country Club. Honorees will be Chris and stellar people like Nancy Paulson, Jacqueline Woodson, Emma Straub, and local developers Donna and Bob Young, and the Young Companies and the JRY Foundation. And tickets and sponsorships are currently available. If you're interested, please go to the New Rochelle Public Library Foundation website and you'll learn more information there. The recent Cocktails in Conversation featuring the noted author Eric Lindenberg that was held at Alvin and Friends Restaurant was a big success. He was featuring his most recent book, 2020, One City, 7 People, and the year everything changed. We remember that year. And they saw over 60 people attend, which was a nice success. Another, and my last part of my presentation this evening is another request that the library board vote on the the 2024-2025 New Rochelle Public Library Foundation annual grant for the main library and the Huguenot Children's Library. I had previously submitted to our Board of Trustees the request for both buildings. It's extensive. It's a big number. We're never certain if the foundation can meet that goal, but they have in the past. And I can honestly tell you, as part of this request, it allows us to receive the matching funds that brings in the New York State Library construction grants that you can see has made such a difference throughout our library facility. It allows us to continue to fund the very popular Museum Pass program for our residents. And it allows us to do a variety of things that relates to children's services, teen services, technology services, adult services. So the monies will be used widely across the board for all areas and impacting on our population as a whole. And that's one element of the request. The other element of the request relates to the Huguenot Children's Library, and that ties to some of the program that they do that is funded through the foundation, and also some smaller physical improvements, furniture and things of that nature. So I would ask Board President Whitney to make another motion.
I will do so now. I will move that the 2024-2025 New Rochelle Public Library Foundation annual grant request for the main branch and the Huguenot Children's Library be endorsed. Can I get a second? Second. Corey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. So yes, we approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, everybody. And my report is over. So thank you all again.
Thank you, Tom. Go. Excellent. Personnel report.
Yeah, no personal report for this month.
Thank you. I'm just gonna take this opportunity to, since we're talking about personnel, just to let everybody know for the public record that we have been in the process of taking the official steps to identify an interim director. And we are also concurrently conducting a search for a permanent director. And when we have a decision about both of those things, or either of those things, obviously one will come before the other. We will call a special meeting of the board to vote, and then we'll make an announcement to the public. So from there, we can move on to the assistant director's report. Elizabeth?
So this is a bit of an understatement, but March was a busy month for several public service departments as we began planning for several exciting summer initiatives and potential funding opportunities. The Children's Department began planning earnestly for the summer reading program themed Adventure Begins at Your Library. This summer, we are honored to be one of 8 libraries chosen for the National STEM Tales program. This distinction allows us to participate in cutting-edge research on the impact of media-based STEM read-alouds for young children. Additionally, a grant that we received last year will enable us to host several STEM programs this summer. This grant was actually funded by PBS Twin Cities. The department is also excited about the potential securing of the 2024 New York State construction grant. We began the process with some design thinking sessions where the staff brainstormed solutions.
Sorry, just wondering what the banging was about.
Yeah, so we are looking forward to using the New York State construction funds this year for the Children's Department. We began the process with some design thinking sessions where staff brainstormed solutions and goals for the new space. There was a clear consensus that the renovated area should be light, bright, welcoming, and fun. Accessibility and inclusivity for neurodivergent children and caregivers are at the forefront of our plans. The space will house an expanded parenting collection, a new special needs center, and boasts greater discoverability of materials. Mobile furniture will allow for adaptable programming areas ranging from story times to social gaming. We are currently discussing options with vendors to find the best products and prices. We are ambitious and we are excited to see this project come to life. The Adult Services Department is also buzzing with activity separate from all the construction projects. In light of a recent retirement announcement, Adult Services Supervisor is updating staff responsibilities to address existing strengths and identify potential gaps. This restructuring ensures seamless collection development, maintenance, program delivery, and service provision. Additionally, a revised job description now reflects contemporary skills, including technology and instructional design. So that's us getting ready for the next couple of months.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, great. Thanks very much. That brings us to our committee reports, and we'll start with the budget committee. Sorry.
Nothing really to report, just reiterating the 24-25 budget that we're submitting for approval, $7,034,006.45 against last year's budget of $6,650,000, $404.39, with an increase of $383,602, which equates to 5.9%, or annually per taxpayer, $21.39. And that is it.
Thank you. We love that average taxpayer number. Good. Buildings and grounds, nothing to report. Right? Okay. You shared about the fire stopping, which is exciting. Community relations and Rhiannon.
All right, I'll try to get through this without coughing fit and such.
Oh,
Just quickly, also want to reiterate what Whitney said, Tom, where I'm going to miss you tremendously. I'm very sad to have heard your last director's report. Thank you for your passion. That was so contagious. I learned a lot from you. I'm sad I only got to serve with you for 2 years. It'd be very difficult to replace you. And but we are all thrilled for you, and we look forward to all the trip reports. We're very jealous of all your journeys that you're planning. So all the best to you. We're going to miss you tremendously. So I'll try to get through this very quickly. I know we have people in the audience and things to get through. But I have the pleasure of reporting to you and to the public the vast variety of programs that the library, the marketing and events team, as well as the BTOP Health and Learning Center is offering. So I'll just go through a few highlights of events that were offered and inform you of some coming up. So we did so many programs in many different categories, arts, art workshops in the gallery. Under that falls the ever popular knitting club. And the next one of that is scheduled for April 19th. That's from 11 to 1. Here comes the coughing, I'm sorry. Wellness, there is actually a huge offering of health and wellness, which seems appropriate. I should partake. So a whole variety of different yoga classes, and I think it's, what did we say it's called? Qigong classes. Hugely popular and really, really well attended. And there's also a new health and wellness class, well-minded movement classes that I think the first one's been very popular. The next one of that's coming up on April 18th and the 25th from 10 to 11. All these classes, all these programs and the upcoming classes are all listed on the website, and we encourage registration beforehand so we can plan, or the team can plan accordingly. But definitely look up all the wellness offerings, lectures, presentations, concerts, whole variety of programs for, you know, any kind of interest you can possibly imagine. The Wayne Henderson concert on March 15th at 140 people in attendance, which is huge. And the past author talk, Fatima Gillian, had 52 people in attendance. One really unique event for the library that many people in New Rochelle took advantage of was the eclipse party. That was preceded by a getting ready for the solar eclipse event. But the eclipse party on the 8th was attended by approximately 225 people. So outside was just the library offered glasses and instruction and helpful tips, don't look directly at the sun. And so it was just another great way to engage with the community and bring people out. I said, I know you were there with your girls, right? I saw the pictures. It was very cute. Sorry. Upcoming events that we have is another great concert. The Michael Powers Blues Heritage Concert is tomorrow, April 12th. Recommend checking that out. The true crime film series continues with the Great Northfield, Minnesota Raid this Friday. And the following day on the 14th, the New Rochelle Play Hollywood is showing The Candidate. It also should be a good event. April is Jazz Month. And there are offerings around that. There's a jazz art workshop on the 17th that I recommend checking out. Whole other range of programming. I wanted to also highlight the continued services, huge array of services that the BTUB Help and Learning Center offers to the community, and they're so well received and so well attended. A whole range of computer classes and help with healthcare, with job search, with resume preparation, civic citizenship classes. So many things that our patients can take advantage of and do take advantage of. One thing I wanted to highlight, which was very busy these last few months, these last few days, is the AARP Tax Aid Assistance Program. And I have a report from our tax aid lead, Tim Oberg, who reported that not last Tuesday, but in this report, that's March 25th, was a very busy day. We received and processed 55 returns. Due to the high volume of work, we stopped accepting new names at noon. These numbers of people taking advantage, I just keep going. That was Vera, one of our,
She was here.
Ah,
There she-
Vera it was one of the AARP tax help volunteers, and today was the last day, and she spent all day at the library helping people with their
Over
returns.
10 years, right?
Over
Sarah?
10 years, Vera. Thank
She's
you so
got
much.
some pin or medal.
So tons of more information about this amazing program can be found on the website, which is a very useful and well-functioning website. So I encourage everybody to check out. And if you want to participate, pre-register.
Excellent. Thank you. That's a robust report as always. Finance Committee, nothing to report. Personnel Committee,
Nothing to report.
nothing to report. Policy Committee. Nothing to report. And Special Projects, Beth is not here. Don't think there's anything to report. Good. Okay, so that brings us to the next part of our agenda, public discussion. Public to be heard, Vera Salter. I just need to come up here to the stage. Okay.
Oh, well, I think,
Get used to being on the stage, Vera.
what, being on the stage, yes. Yeah, I just want to thank the board for the great work that you're doing. And I've recently got to know Tom very well. And it's been a pleasure to know him, and I know he'll be greatly missed by the board, the library, and the community.
Thank you very much. Cecilia Levon. I hope I said your name right. Oh, yes. Vera was very brief, but we actually have a 4-minute time limit, so let me, the way that we do it is Oh, sorry, Ms. Levon, I'm just gonna let you know, we have a 4-minute time limit, so I didn't have to impose it upon Vera because she was very brief, but I will do a stopwatch and hold it up for you, and then I'll let you know at 30 seconds, okay?
Mhm. Thank you.
You're
My
welcome.
name is Cecilia Lavin. I live on Pelham Road. 9/11 happened in 2001, and the Patriot Act was approved that year. And in 2004, the Westchester County Board passed the Patriot Act resolution. Among several introductory whereases, the county board stated, Westchester County is proud of its long and distinguished tradition of protecting the civil rights and civil liberties of its people. And Westchester County has a diverse population whose contributions to our community are vital to its character and function. The county board resolved to support specific provisions of the Patriot Act and further resolved to urge the repeal of specific provisions of the Patriot Act that unnecessarily violate individual freedoms and rights and are not essential to the safety and security of our people, including provisions that allow for secret searches, provisions that allow for extensive telephone and internet surveillance, provisions that allowed for obtaining library records of individuals. Between 2001 and 2004, when the Patriot Act was asking for individual library records, the librarians did whatever they could to protect the rights of their patrons, including, in some cases, destroying the records of people's use of the library at the end of each day, rather than handing them over to governmental agencies. Ever since then, I have had the greatest respect for librarians, which is why I was so disturbed when I heard that editors Haley Pessin and Anthony Arnold's presentation on Voices of a People's History of the United States in the 21st Century Documents of Hope and Resistance was canceled. I did not want to believe what I was hearing, that the board was pressured for political reasons to do that. The New Rochelle Library offers a diverse and exceptional array of opportunities for the public. Way too many for me to list, but they've been listed, thank you. And many that I personally enjoy, which is why I was so grateful that you rescheduled the Arnov Presson Author Talk for next week. Thank you for restoring my love and respect for our library.
Thank you very much. Noel, Elia, pass, okay, pass. Sameh Fakuri. I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry. It's a little hard to read it.
Stand on the stage.
Yes. Come a little bit close. I'm gonna start your timer now.
Okay, you won't need that. I'm going to be very brief.
Okay.
My name is Sama Fakuri. I live here in New Rochelle. We've lived here for 37 years. I'm an Arab American. Sizable part of my family is Palestinian. And like Seal said, I was distraught when I heard that a talk was canceled here at the library because of the speaker's views. I'm used to that. I didn't expect it here in New Rochelle. We see it happening all over the country. A literature festival at the University of Pennsylvania leads to the dismissal of the president. A faculty member at John Jay not being renewed his contract because of his sympathies for Palestine. Palestine has become, in the minds of a lot of people in this country, kind of like an alarm goes off when the word Palestinian is mentioned. All of a sudden, we need to have security. We can't have this talk without having security, without guaranteeing the security. These are your words, the guaranteeing the security of the speakers and the audience. Just because the word Palestine has been mentioned, all of a sudden we need security. I don't buy that. I think this is a form of censorship. It's a way of saying, this is a sensitive topic. We can't talk about it without being really careful. It's not a sensitive topic. It's colonialism. It's oppressed people who are colonized by a settler colonial state that has been established on their land. And there's nothing sensitive about that. It's oppression. Oppression is not sensitive, okay? It's something that needs to be addressed directly and openly. The talk was canceled, later rescheduled under the guise that it was postponed. But originally it was canceled. When a postponement happens, you're told it's going to occur on such and such a day. It took a while for that to happen. So in my mind, it was canceled and then rescheduled for whatever the mechanics happened. And I don't want to see that happen again here. There needs to be free speech. We need to be open to hear the views of everybody. And people who disagree are welcome to come and share their views also. We believe in that. Okay, there's nothing that's going to get solved without addressing the topic straightforward and openly. Thank you for restoring the talk. Hopefully next time we won't need to postpone it and just continue with the dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce Soloway.
Bruce Soloway, 76 Vaughan Avenue. I wish to congratulate and thank the library board for its wise decision to promptly reschedule the book talk by Anthony Arnold and Haley Pessin. The board's prompt action to reschedule the talk has happily confirmed that this was indeed a postponement, as the board has consistently stated. I must confess that the statement read by Ms. Barrett at the last board meeting left some room for doubt. No future date had yet been announced for the talk, and it was unclear when the talk might be rescheduled. Would it be a week or a month or a year? It was also unclear whether the talk would be rescheduled in its original format or reframed as some sort of a debate. So there was some legitimate concern that this might prove to be a cancellation of the talk as originally conceived, rather than a postponement. The board, again, is to be commended for resolving this matter quickly and clearly. It's notable that this presentation was postponed not because of the content of the book under discussion, but because objections have been raised to the political opinions of the book's editors. According to the American Library Association policy on programs, as you all well know, and I quote, "Programs should not be canceled because of the ideas or topics of the program or the views expressed by the participants or speakers. Libraries should vigorously defend the First Amendment right of speakers and participants to express themselves," end quote. There are, of course, exceptions to the First Amendment. These include incitement, defamation, fraud, obscenity, child pornography, fighting words, and threats. The Supreme Court has defined incitement as speech directed at inciting or producing imminent lawless action. This presentation raised none of those concerns. I know the board faced some difficult issues here, and I'm sure you acted in good faith. Yet I am unaware of any other presentation in recent years that was canceled or postponed because of the opinions of the speakers. Although it was promptly corrected, this action abridged the First Amendment rights of the speakers and the community. And because the action was selective, it was inherently discriminatory. Those who objected to this presentation, in some cases with false allegations about the speakers that bordered on slander, did not serve the public well. Based on ALA guidelines, I hope that any future objections to programming based on the opinions of the speakers will be immediately rejected without the kind of disruption we experienced in this case. Certainly, the war in Gaza is a divisive issue that has aroused intense passions on all sides. These are exactly the issues that most require open dialogue and exchange, and where the library can provide a particularly valuable public service. I hope the library will lean into this responsibility and schedule more talks on controversial issues, not less, inviting speakers representing a wide variety of viewpoints, including those that may be politically unpopular. This is where the First Amendment faces its greatest tests. There's nothing to fear from frank conversation. There's everything to fear from censorship and silence. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Elise Waterston.
Closer to you.
I'm gonna start the timer now.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Elise Waterston. I live here in New Rochelle. As an educator for nearly 50 years, as a resident of New Rochelle for over 35 years, and as a 73-year-old Jewish person who lost family during the Nazi regime, I am grateful that you, President Barrett, and members of this board of the New Rochelle Public Library are moving forward with the event on April 18th to feature Anthony Arnov and Haley Pessin, editors of the volume, Voices of a People's History of the United States in the 21st Century, Documents of Hope and Resistance. I understand you were under pressure by special interest individuals and/or a special interest group to silence these speakers. That would be censorship, as we've already heard this evening, a blatant action to muffle voices, the very first word of the title of the book to be featured. You almost succumbed, having canceled or postponed the original event date in March, when you were bombarded by calls and letters from those who don't like what the speakers might have to say. Thankfully, you did not succumb and instead understood your responsibility to uphold the principles and policies as these are written into the U.S. Constitution, the Library Bill of Rights, and the American Library Association's mandates that ensure the freedom to read, the freedom of speech, the freedom to hear and to listen. We know that democracy is under threat in this country, and we know that public libraries are under threat by those who would ban speakers and books. Those calls, the ones that would ban speakers and ban books, are enormously dangerous and fascistic. I watched and listened to the library board meeting held on March 14, in which some New Rochellians objected to Mr. Arnov and Ms. Pessin speaking at our library on the basis of unsubstantiated, false accusations of anti-Semitism. Those residents are free to say what they want, even offer specious arguments. Doesn't matter. The library has an obligation to stand up to them on behalf of democracy, the freedom of speech, the freedom to read, the freedom to listen, and I applaud you for doing so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Damon Marr. Have a seat, Damon. Have a seat.
Yeah, so Damon Marr, 10 LeCount Place, and first, as a longtime patron of the library and former trustee here, I want to recognize Tom Giavino's long stewardship of this physical space called the public library. And more importantly, of the ideas and principles for which a public library stands. And I think it bears saying in these times, commend him also for his unfailing responsiveness to the library board, which is here our elected representatives of our wonderful community. Tom has a kind, soft-spoken, and I may even say courtly demeanor. But I remember I found 3 subjects he would discuss in a very animated manner. And one was long-distance bicycle riding. Second, you're fearing the second one. Following the exploits of MMA, WWE superstar Rowdy Ronda Rousey, who, by the way, has just put out a book, and I hope I'll be able to find it here in the library very soon. But what I remember most arousing his passion was any inkling that the library would back down on any issue of censorship of matters of legitimate debate. His credo is found in our First Amendment and in the American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights. I'm just going to read very quickly some material that's already been gone over, but I think it bears repeating. Libraries should actively seek to include a variety of programming options representing diversity of genres, formats, ideas, and expressions with a multitude of viewpoints and cultural perspectives that reflect diversity in our communities. As Bruce said, programs should not be canceled because of the ideas or topics of the program or the views expressed by participants or speakers. Library sponsorship of programs does not constitute an endorsement of any program content or the views expressed by the participants or speakers any more than the purchase of resources to the library collection or curation and display constitutes an endorsement of the resource content or its creative views. So, we have a couple of cases in point of programs or displays enthusiastically supported by the library without any endorsement of particular point of view in the program. One, for example, is the Public Library, NRPL's, recently signing on as one of 29 libraries in the country for the Yiddish Book Center's Stories of Exile reading groups, facilitated by another former trustee, Hannah Just Michael. Likewise, in January 2021, you recall, the Israeli deputy consul came here from New York. Picture, a lot of familiar faces, we're all here, to bring books to the library book forum and permanent collection, in which Israel is portrayed in a favorable light. Obviously, that's their prerogative. And I don't think the fully credentialed academic disciples of Howard Zinn, who look at history from perspectives different from the ones that those my age may have grown up with, should be muzzled either. Their proposition that history is made not only by the rich and powerful, but by ordinary people taking collective action is certainly worthy of exposition and discussion. Our library is an open marketplace of thought, culture, and ideas, not just a market of used books with maybe teats out there. Although that's vitally important, of course. The nostalgic view expressed by at least one speaker last month that the library is a place of inviolate quietude, and also that we can solve problems just by ignoring them, is no longer valid if it ever was. Thank you, Tom. It's going to be tough finding a replacement for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That concludes the public discussion portion of our library meeting. Thank you for coming here and voicing your thoughts and opinions. And I hope you know and trust that I believe as long as everyone in this room is here, and hopefully far into the future, and hopefully forever, this library will be a space always for your voices, no matter what they are. On that note, any other comments? Does anyone have any comments, questions? Then I will make a motion to adjourn our meeting. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.